Check the time and adjust your dial. It's time for the GZ Chop Shop Podcast, the best podcast by gamers for gamers. Each week, we give you the rundown of all the happenings in the gaming world, news updates, reviews, and much more. We do all the research so you don't have to. And if you still want more after the show, we got you covered. Check out our website at thegzchopshop.com for all of our latest content. Now keep your ears locked because it's time for the GZ Chop Shop. Yo, what is up, everybody? Project Itachi here. Welcome back for another week of the GZ Chop Shop. We have an amazing show lined up for you today. We are going to be covering Play vs and Nintendo's new partnership, and we're going to be talking about some really shady stuff Amazon has been up to, as well as more hot water with Apple versus Spotify as the top contender for the music platforming. So a lot of good stuff in this episode. Unfortunately, Kara is not here with us this week. She's taking care of some family things, so we don't have our common sense with us. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. Kara usually reels us in, but we're going to jump right into it. So Warners, what's up with this Nintendo thing?
So before I jump into it, you remember, I think it was 2 podcasts ago, we were talking about colleges that are starting to have form gaming competitions and gaming scholarships that can lead you to basically a career in esports or gaming, or if you want to branch out and just do other things. But the scholarship, the scholarships are there for the taking now, and it's only growing. Well, we were wondering what can we do to get accepted into those scholarships, and we weren't sure, right?
Yeah.
Well, I came across an article today about a company called Play vs, and I just learned about this like this week. I had never heard of it. So Play vs is an online platform that lets gamers form esports teams at their high schools. I know, right? I was like,
okay.
Are you serious? I had no idea. So they were actually founded in 2016. Little background there, and their total funding at the time was less than $100 million. Like they weren't being funded a whole lot. Yeah. I don't think they were obviously being taken very seriously. But now they form these esports teams and have these players these teams compete with each other with other schools for titles at state championships.
So that's how they're getting that. Okay.
Yeah. But we're going to dive more into this, okay? This company has the rights to introduce video games as a sport in over 20,000 high schools nationwide.
20,000?
Remember when we were talking about colleges and what did we have, like a list of like 9 or 10 or something?
Yeah, it was like 10.
Over 20,000 in 23 states associated with the NFHS. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what the NFSA, that's hard to say. Blah, 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 blah. The NFSHS. It's easier to just say the damn phrase. The National Federation of State High School Associations. So what they do is they serve its members by basically creating the leadership for administration and education-based high school athletics and activities through the writing of plain rules that emphasize health and safety, educational programs. They develop leaders, administration supports, so on and so on. So they're like the guidelines for sports in middle school and high school, like overall anyways. And now Play vs is a part of that. And it's cool because they have to have coaches too.
Yeah. So here's the thing. How are these coaches determined? Are they picking from our generation of like gamers?
I don't know. Are you a retired 28-year-old esports player? That's a good question.
Like somebody has to be coaching them, and that means this person has to be a veteran in the game. So who are they picking, to be the coach?
That I don't know. I honestly thought about that. I couldn't find any specifics on that. But you know what? For anyone listening, if you know that information or find that out, hit us up on our, gammagames.com and leave a message and
damn sure they're just gonna get some random dude that wants like Friday nights off without actually going to an actual sport event, and then he could just be on his phone and not care.
Well, so the big thing that just
he's gonna
happened,
be like, all right, you guys train yourselves. You got this. It's just a video game. You don't need me.
No, I wouldn't
train yourselves.
No, truly competitive gamers, I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
For a fact that no school teacher can train kids in gaming.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they're probably like designated school teachers. They're probably like outside coaches.
Who's gonna pay? Who's also going to take that money? Because it's school coaching. It's not a lot of money to that.
Someone who's passionate in gaming.
If anything, it's going to be someone that's volunteering their time, and then they probably won't do that all the time.
No, because they have to be certified coaches.
Yeah, that's still a certification
by the high school and approved by the NFSH.
So the list has gotten so much fucking smaller.
So how they're gonna do that, I don't know. That's like beyond me. But right now,
they're gonna call all the teachers that want to be coaches, like, hey, who wants to train the esports team? Raise your hand, and they're gonna pick the pot of like the 2 teachers that actually raised their hand.
I think it'll be more.
It'll definitely be more detailed than that. I feel like maybe that's how it started when no one took it seriously, but the schools wanted to like capitalize on it, like the smaller schools that, were out in the Midwest that were starting to get into it. But now that it's a trend and there's money involved, like lots of money involved, they're going to want qualified coaches, because the more these schools win, that's not only money that to the team, but money to the school. The schools are going to want that money, so they're going to want certified coaches that know what they're doing. And if anything, if they feel that the coach in place is still a good fit, they're going to make sure he or she goes through the required training to keep that position and become certified, which means they'll have to know the game just as much as the players do. So you gotta understand, if the National Federation State High School Associations are the ones that are running this, if this stuff is included and part of esports, like they're going to be certified. They're going to be hand chosen, just like you would in baseball, basketball, football. That's how seriously this is being taken. And again, over 20,000 high schools in 23 states and Canada as well. This is going to be taken very seriously. And this has been happening since 2016, but it didn't explode up until the past year and a half or so. And the games that they include, they have Fortnite, FIFA, Madden, League of Legends. You had to say Fortnite.
Well, it's popular. It's a popular game. I think what they have done is they are outside Fortnite. I think they're not including games like Call of Duty or Apex. I think they're keeping the more live action, slightly more realistic gun violent games, you could say, down.
Yeah, keeping them at bay.
But I don't know what the specifics are, but that is why it makes sense to me that they just now partnered with Nintendo to include Splatoon 2 and Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Ooh.
And they're going to be introduced in early 2022, and they're going to also add Mario Kart 8 tournaments as well.
Oh, they're not just trying to create bitter rivalries. They're trying to end friendships. So
on
a major scale.
So this is a national thing, but Nintendo has, they're funding, they're partnered, they're with Play VS.
You know what?
They're partnered by Riot Games and Nerd Street Gamers as well.
And that's no small feat.
No.
So this is official. And this is probably why Nintendo's been hanging back. Everyone's been like, why isn't Nintendo doing stuff? Why isn't Nintendo releasing stuff? That's probably why. Nintendo has always been one to look at a bigger picture long term.
Well, they also just have a secret announcement coming up this weekend or next weekend.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
E3, but a Nintendo Direct.
And they're always famous for doing stuff like that. So this is probably what Nintendo's been up to. This is what they've been prioritizing.
Yeah, and their directs aren't never letdowns either.
And I want people to know that people that don't know what Nerd Street Gamers is, It's a network of national esports facilities and events that are dedicated to powering competitive gamers and promoting greater access to in the esports industry. And they are basically laying the national framework for esports talent and development in high quality gaming tournaments.
I mean,
that's
sure
how serious this is huge.
Yeah. Esports has now pretty much solidified its place in sports entertainment.
Remember 10 years ago when all the kids and the kid violence was because of video games?
Because it's funny now, right?
And now it's 20,000 high schools.
Well, all they were talking about was like video games corrupting children, video game violence, video sex in video games rotting the brain. And now look at this. Look how much money. And
Nintendo was Nintendo's the smartest move. It's the family friendly, gaming company that everybody loves.
Yeah. I say cool, more power to it, because now there's a new avenue for the upcoming generation. I felt it was always an unfair balance in school that people who were more tech savvy got frowned upon because they weren't into the physical sports, and they always were looked down on, like they had nothing to bring to the table during their school years, which is why a lot of people have resentment, to schools and stuff. It's like, let's be honest, they put the athletes on a pedestal. So now it's pretty even, either or.
This raises a question for me though. Again, I'll use Overwatch as the example here. To get on an official like esports recognized team, right? You basically want to get up in the masters and grandmasters level of Overwatch with a team of your own and show that you have what it takes to create your own team or get scouted by other teams. So you have to be the best of the best on this game. So are we looking at a future now where if you want to pursue a future in esports, it's no longer, I don't want to use the word that simple, but that direct now? And are we looking at a future now where you have to pursue a career in esports, go to college and get scholarships for these games for esports, right? And then get qualified to be picked for teams from there versus working your way up the way you can now? Is it going to be more technical, more steps?
I think that, yes, that's going to wind up going that route because there's such a high demand for it now that they're going to, if they're trying to get into the esports, it's definitely going to be a more rigorous process. They're not going to be able to just let your casual player join teams, because now, like we were saying, there's money involved. There's literal investment. There's lots of eyes watching. So they're going to have to do it the same way they did high school sports teams. You do your tryouts. And I know, like, when you were talking, like, they put together teams. So it's going to, before you could probably pick your friends and be like, oh, we're good together and work together. But now it's going to be like, nope, this person's good at this. This person's good at this. This is your team. And you're going to learn to work together and, go from there. So it is going to become probably just as nitpicky as regular sports.
You know how many people watch League of Legends championships? Like, just guess the number. Like, when they're playing in their championships.
Like over maybe like 1 million people?
Not even close. Over almost 50 million people tune in to watch this.
50 million people.
It is one of the most popular games in the world. For
less than 10 years ago, used to get criticized for liking video games.
Hold up. Where did those 50 million come from?
It's probably streaming.
All over the world.
There's got to be a central location where a lot of those people watch.
You mean like on Twitch or...
Like anybody that watches esports, we know that a lot are from the US, but when it comes to 50 million, we know damn well that 60% of them are probably from I want to say Asian countries.
That used to be true, and that's not true anymore.
Is it not?
Nope. It's a pretty good.
It's gone pretty even
between
globally.
Europe, Australia, North America, and I'll say Pacific Asia, to include all of them. It's pretty consistent across the board. Now, when you talk about
when we think about population density and all that, I'm getting into the math.
Now, when you're talking about StarCraft, though, that's different. StarCraft's the actual national game of South Korea. So that
Well, yeah, but I'm
different.
also talking about Overwatch. There's a lot of Chinese competitors in Overwatch and Japanese competitors in Overwatch that are really like more popular than some of the American ones.
Yeah, but there's across the board. There's a pretty consistent amount through all the countries I just named. And Europe and North America have quite a few.
And if it wasn't that spread, we wouldn't be financially supporting.
Exactly.
There would be no reason for it if it's not. I think because America is probably like literally one of the latecomers to this. Like, you know, in the Asian countries, they've already been doing gaming professionally. North America is like one of the last people to step into the arena because we were so busy trying to downplay it that, you know, now they're realizing, oh crap, we were missing out on a lot of money here, a lot of opportunity. So now they're funding it.
I'll give you some perspective, okay? How many people do you think watch? We're not talking about the Super Bowl, okay? We're just talking about an average NFL game. How many people do you think tune in for it? And again, this is mostly America, so it's a little unfair to compare the two, but I do think it's incredible. How many people you think?
100,000?
Between about 13 to 16 million people tune in for an average NFL game. You could Google this information. It'll vary, but approximately that many people tune in for that's just the average NFL game, right? And again, that's just North America, and esports is more worldwide, but that does to me speak volumes.
Yeah. And then you got your regular athletes who enjoy esports and video games themselves.
Yeah.
So, they get their fan bases in on it, which, is very helpful.
There was a picture of some NBA players back in like 1999. They're in their fucking private jet and they're all setting up a LAN party to play StarCraft with each other in their private jet. And I'm like, you know what? If that isn't dedication to StarCraft, I don't know what is.
Yuli, it's interesting you mentioned this. I was thinking after I read this article and like researched this information and like came to understand like what that means for today for schools and colleges. I was thinking back in middle school and high school, I guess high school, when Halo 2 came out, and it was the first game that you could really hook up multiple consoles to with LAN cables. I think you could hook up 4 max at a time with 4 screens and have competitions. And we used to go to GameStops after hours. They'd hold like competitions like locally, and you could win prizes for winning after like a period of a couple months or something. And to think that the world has gone from that to what gaming is now is so incredible to me. And I wish they had that when I was in high school.
No, I feel like we can take a little pride in helping pave the way.
Yeah, this is them right here, the Spurs. Look at them.
Oh man!
Look at how look. They won a championship. Their trophy's chilling on the bottom.
The trophy's chilling, but they were like priorities. Okay, we got the trophy, but this LAN party though.
StarCraft was like when I used to play. That was like one of my earlier games that I played as a kid, and it was a blast.
Yeah, gaming. It's definitely not going to let up. I'm happy to see this transformation. I just hope it doesn't lose itself along the way. I'm glad
it's already
that
lost itself pretty deeply.
How's that?
I blame mobile apps because of all the microtransactions.
Well,
And,
I mean,
a lot of the developers do rely a lot on updates and sending out broken games to be fixed later.
Yeah, but we're not seeing mobile gaming as it's not really an esports thing. They do have like competitions and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's not taken near as seriously.
Give it 10 more years. Mobile gaming right now is what people see gaming back in the 90s when you guys were kids. Like I said, give it 10 more years, maybe another 20, and we're gonna see esports Candy Crush.
Well, there are Candy Crush competitions that you can
Look, there it is. It's already happening.
But it's not like on the esports level where you could tune in to ESPN or something.
They were saying that I can't remember who it is. I think it was someone who works at Nintendo. I don't remember. I can't remember the name, but there was someone who was saying the future of if Wi-Fi is more accessible and less restrictive, mobile gaming will become the future.
Well, and as phones develop, it'll probably get better and better, I'm sure, and more efficient.
My iPhone 10 can already play the new Call of Duty mobile game without a problem. And this phone was released 3 years ago?
And what's sad?
That's a lifetime for phones.
That's what I'm saying. That's the sad part of technology. You say when did it come out? 3 years ago, and everyone's like, oh, that's ancient.
I just want to find an iPhone 3G and just push the limit of whatever it'll let me possibly do, if it'll even let me do anything, and just see
if it explodes in your hand.
If it catches fire. Remember how thick they were?
Man, those things were thick.
Yeah, my iPhone was out in September 2018.
See, to us, that's not that long ago. In technology, that's a lifetime.
That's ancient. Dude, this still has only 2 cameras in the back. That tells you a lot.
I don't know. I know I'm excited to be alive right now in this day and age with all the changes that are happening in the gaming world.
You know what? I would be just excited if I was 15 years older and more stable.
Well,
when we all.
I'm gonna partially rain on the other half of that parade. I'm sorry, Warners, but yeah, let's dive into the what these big tech companies have been up to. Some of them, making stuff for these esports games. So before I even get into the Apple versus Spotify thing, which in itself, mind you, I want you guys to know, I actually went and read as far as I could back. I read the Wall Street Journal excerpt. I read the original article that I found this on, which was on The Verge. And I went and was doing some seriously deep diving research. And I gotta say, all the tech companies right now, none of them are saints. We all know this. That's no surprise. We know this. But the fact that there's so much shit going on that I feel a lot of people need to be made aware of, that they've done such a good idea of smiling in our face and going, you don't need to worry about it. We got you covered. Just say yes. And everyone has just kind of been marching along to the beat hey, hit yes. And then just so what I'm talking about right now, I don't know if anyone knows, Amazon Sidewalk. And to prove, Warners, you didn't even know what Amazon Sidewalk was. So for anyone who has no idea what Amazon Sidewalk is something that Amazon is launching that is going to, long story short, turn your Amazon powered devices, your Echoes, your Alexas, your whatever, into a hotspot that anyone can access utilizing your internet. So your internet connection that's being fed to your Alexa will automatically become a hotspot for any passerby. And the best part, here's the best part. June 8th, if you have not opted out by June 8th, you are automatically added to the Sidewalk program.
Do we know how to opt out?
So you have to go into your Alexa app, and there should be an option that talks about Sidewalk, and then you can opt out, but they don't make it easy to find.
I just asked Alexa to turn it off, and she said, which product, remember? And then I said, you. And then she just stonewalled me and turned off.
Yeah, so you actually have to go into the app and manually turn it off. And the thing is, Sidewalk was actually mentioned like in 2019, but it was kind of like hush hush, so nobody really caught wind of it. And just to prove, in my opinion, how they know that this is the most shady shit to pull, the fact that they suddenly came up today, because the news report came out today, in the middle of the day when most people are still at work, so no one heard it. And I'm saying today, it's June 1st when we're recording this, that, hey, yeah, by June 8th, we're just going to make everyone do it. So they're following Comcast footsteps. So what a lot of people don't know, and they're probably going to check their Comcast Xfinity. If you have Xfinity Wi-Fi, you probably have a guest Wi-Fi that you can't turn off, because Comcast did the same thing by making accessible Wi-Fi. Yeah, and they made how to opt out even harder. They didn't even tell people how to opt out. You had to go through like support websites and stuff. So people didn't even know how to opt out. And a lot of people don't even know they have it.
If you open up your Xfinity app right now, it is the Xfi app. That app will automatically tell you like all your shit settings, and you can be like, all right, I don't want this, I don't want this. Like I turned off my Xfinity Wi-Fi to be open to the public with like codes and all that, because no, I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
But do you think most people are going to think that way?
Nope. And they know that.
And it's not against them, like people are stupid. It's the fact that
people are stupid.
They're implementing these things, but they're not telling people publicly how to get rid of them, how to opt out, or setting a date that's 7 fucking days from now.
Yeah, that's the real kicker. The fact that, because here's the thing. The fact that they're making a quote unquote mandatory opt-in tells you they knew people weren't going to be for it. They needed to execute this quickly, because here's the thing. A lot of people, you imagine you're sitting there and you're trying to play your game, and all of a sudden your internet craps out on you and you're wondering why. It's because someone's like, oh, instead of downloading all these movies on my internet, I'm going to walk down the street. Their Sidewalk is active. I'm going to download all the movies using your internet.
I'm going to look out the window and see 9 people playing Pokemon Go off my internet.
Yeah.
They're already doing that.
But it's going to be, but the thing is, they weren't feeding off of your, they weren't legally, because now this would be legal. And I'm going to tell you, because a lot of people going to go, isn't that illegal? I'm going to tell you why the government's not going to step in. And I'm not going to go into the conspiracy theories, because that is a whole podcast in of itself. But I'm just going to use 2 words: Big Brother. The government, this is a perfect opportunity for them, because your internet will be open and available. Why force you when you willingly quote unwillingly giving it to them? Because this is to get a little bit in a rabbit hole, this is the utilization of our freedoms against us. It's kind of like
same companies that get in legal battles with the government saying, well, we're with the people, we don't want to share that information. Apple went through that. Not wanting to unlock their iPhones.
Yeah. And right now, the fact that the government won't step in until people realize what's happening. However, since Amazon has been doing this under the radar, they're covering their asses really well, because I'm going to tell you, by the time this gets resolved, it'll have been 5 to 6 years. Most people are going to get used to it. They're just going to say, fuck it, nothing's going to change. It's not affecting my day-to-day life. Fun fact, it is. And they're just going to go with it.
Explain to them how it's going to affect them.
So your internet that you're paying for from your hard-earned money in a country that doesn't want to give you higher living wages will be available to, I don't know, your neighbor that has like 13 kids living in the house.
Well, that's being challenged now for the high living wages, because nobody wants to work right now.
And that means, but just, you're still going to have your internet being fed to some random person walking down the street.
You're still going to have that, yeah. But, pretty soon companies are going to learn that they can't pay people minimum. because nobody wants to work. I can't tell you how many places I've gone to, and I've traveled from California to Arizona to Utah, and I've seen the same thing. Everybody's underemployed because nobody wants to work for the shit pay. Nobody wants to work for what's barely livable.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Amazon Sidewalk is going to turn your Amazon powered devices into pretty much, because they're trying to make this Wi-Fi everywhere environment. And when they were asked about like the security, they didn't really give details. They were kind of like real dodgy about it. They didn't want to like, oh, we can't really talk about that. So you're not even sure that they can protect against some random hacker, this is going to be a hacker's paradise. That's like my concern. This is like hacker's paradise waiting to happen. Because they're connected right to you.
So let's go ahead and prove some of your points here. I just pulled up the Alexa app. And I can't say her name because she keeps trying to interrupt me. And I went to her privacy settings.
Okay.
And it tells you this is everything that goes that is available to whoever wants to see. It's public unless you don't want to make it public. Manage skill permissions. So skills that have requested permissions to access data. That's where you can go to turn stuff on and off. Recordings from diverse range of customers. Detect sound histories and events. And this one is you can filter by date and choose an entry to see details and listen to delete recordings. And it gives your home address, number, and name, and the places you've been to in accordance to devices that you have it hooked up to.
So,
and you can read this on the app in the privacy settings.
So basically, if you don't opt out, I'm telling you guys personally, I say opt out. I know
opt out.
Great Wi-Fi for denied. I know great Wi-Fi for everyone sounds, amazing Wi-Fi everywhere, but it's all fun and games until you find that video you thought no one had access to because it was only one copy on your phone. Winds up leaked on the internet, and you're wondering how it got there. And it's because, hey, a random guy down the street decided to hop on your Wi-Fi. Little pull and tug here. No need for a password, and now they're in your stuff. And if you think, that this information isn't getting sold and to other companies like that, how do you think marketing happens? I'm sorry to tell you this, you're being a little naive. That stuff gets sold. They tell you it's not because they don't want to deal with the backlash and the outcry. So they just tell you, it's like, hey, we're a big company, you can trust us. And most people go, yeah, you're right. Okay. No, this stuff is going to get this information.
They give you the option in a lot of these, like Facebook, Apple, like all these different, big companies, and you can go into settings and in quote, opt in and out of allowing the advertisement and the things you search for and your data to be released and used for their data.
Yeah.
Like you can find this stuff in the privacy settings of most of your apps and social media.
Yeah. So take the time, guys. I'm telling you, take the time, go into your Alexa app, all your devices, go through each individual one and make sure you lock your stuff down, because come June 8th, I don't know how it's going to work for new devices. I don't know if they're going to make it where new devices automatically are connected. So I would say be careful with new devices. Try to avoid buying anything new Alexa related for a while. Because like I said, they were very dodgy on like how the security works. All they were saying is, oh, it's secure. You don't have to worry about it. But they never explained how. It's like, okay, well, explain it to me. I might not know that, but I want details. Like, do you have print? Can you explain? This is my internet going out. But they were very dodgy about it. I don't trust it. I don't like that they're forcing it. I find it extremely shady that they're forcing it. Because they're basically, in my opinion, this is Amazon saying, fuck your privacy. Your internet is our internet, which is not the case, because if that's the case, I would only approve of this if internet was free. Make internet free, then I really can't argue. but internet is not free. So why am I paying for other people who do not live in this household to have access to my internet and probably my personal life? You're basically making me pay for people to invade my privacy. Like, you know, I'm paying you to invade my privacy. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, and like that, I had to get that off my chest because that was just extremely frustrating. That came out today on, you know, TV news report. I was talking about it with my mom, and I was like,
videos of people who change their Wi-Fi passwords and their neighbors are knocking on the door like, why'd you change your Wi-Fi password?
You know, you're gonna start having random people knocking on your door. Hey, I was using your Sidewalk. I was using your Sidewalk. Like, hello, why'd you opt out?
God forbid they knock on my door. Oh my God.
So, knock, knock. Hey, you turned off your Wi-Fi.
You turned off your Wi-Fi.
Did I?
Huh? Did I?
Itachi, remember Senior Chief Henry in the Navy?
Yes.
I would pull him. You have 10 seconds to get off my lawn.
You have 10 seconds.
And then out loud go 10, 9, 8, 7. And as they walk away, don't ever come back or I'll kick you right in the ass.
But yeah. And that wasn't even like the main topic point I wanted to cover. I just wanted to get that out there to you guys to know. Check your Amazon. By the time you guys hear this, I'll probably make a post about it, but check it up. Opt out. I mean, if you want your Wi-Fi, hey, you know, that's all you.
You think like there's just random like what is it, NSA people like randomly just go into an Alexa or Google and be like, let me listen in on this person, and they're just hearing sex noises and be like, well, not this one.
Well, no, it's already been proven that the listening in has happened.
Oh, I know that they're listening in, but there's just got to be some funny moments where you listen in and some dude's like, oh, I think that bitch gave me crabs.
You know what? You know what's interesting to me is people for the most part are these, like, a lot of people put covers on their webcams because everybody knows that webcams can be
when I had my
webcam,
I would put it down, but then I would actually flip it up when I enjoy the show.
Oh
fucker.
My God! So if people can sit there and acknowledge that webcams can be invasive to your privacy and they put covers over them, it would make, like, how could you not put that same, you know, acknowledgement into our own devices and what companies do?
I will say before I shift gears here, the only benefit to that invasion is nobody, at least on my end, nobody could ever say I committed a crime because I have such a digital footprint. I'm like, look, check my Amazon, check my webcam. Just check my Google history at that time. What's my alibi?
Our country's getting like our own country is like becoming a toxic spouse. Let me look at your phone. Let me look at your internet history right now. Let me look at your Alexa. Where have you been?
Hey, you want to look at my phone? I mean, well, yeah, but you're sleeping on the couch because I don't want to hear you guys crying all night.
That's what the government's turning into, that toxic
the toxic
boyfriend,
spouse.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Toxic spouse.
And speaking of toxic, moving on to Apple versus Spotify. Apple's been in some hot water. And I'm just going to give a quick backstory. We are seeing a change of power right now. And we're seeing a mirror image of something that has happened. History is repeating itself right now from 20 years ago. And we've actually talked about this and we've kind of predicted it. It's happening faster now, I think, because of the COVID lifestyle. So if anyone's wondering what I'm talking about from 20 years ago, back in the day, Microsoft was the go-to browser. Google was but a little peon trying to make its way, and they couldn't get around Microsoft because when Microsoft PCs came out, they were like, yo, it's our browser on this PC. We made it. It's our browser. You're using us. That's that. And then Google went to the Department of Justice, was like, yeah, Big Daddy Microsoft, they're blocking progress and we have monopoly.
I love that reenactment right there.
So basically, you know, the Department of Justice steps in and is like, hey, we have these antitrust laws. You can't have monopoly. You can't suppress other businesses from being able to reach customers and help themselves build. So Microsoft had to change. They had to adjust, their, how they bundled their, they could still bundle their stuff, but they couldn't keep people from getting Google. And then Google became a giant. And then they became the go-to internet browser. Now, here's the thing. And when you don't do the research, it's easy to say, well, no, it's just people like Google better. No, people like what's put in front of them repetitively for ease of use. So if you do the research, you will find out that Google has actually paid the developers, the phone developers, to give them the prime spacing on the phones. That's why when you get a new phone, with the exception of Apple, Google is in your face because they've paid, saying, hey, we're taking that spot right on the front.
And if you don't believe Itachi, just ask Jeeves. See what I did there?
For real though, for real. Do any research on it. I promise you, and you'll see. Google has paid to have their software be front and center. And then a lot of the phone developers, they're like, hey, well, Google will be like, yo, look, you can design your phone any way you want. We'll let you have the access to the browser. But if you want access to our other apps, you have to prioritize us. And everyone knows, oh, they want Google Maps. They want Google Assistant. They want Google this. They want Google that. So it ties the hands of the phone developers because they're like, okay, well, we can't release an Android phone without Google Maps. And Google's like, yeah, we know. So what you gonna do? And this is how it's been for years. So they've made it so they forced themselves to be the popular one, because they left no room for anyone else. No one's going to go out of their way to download, Yahoo when they got Google, boom, right there in their face.
What was the one before Google Maps that everybody used? I can't remember the name.
You're talking way back in the day, like MapQuest?
MapQuest. I remember they had to print it out and shit.
Yeah.
I thought there was an app. Maybe not. Maybe it was Google Maps, but it used to be. It just looked different. Like it looked a lot different.
I feel like map should be a skill. Map reading should be a skill we teach.
Why?
No, I have to agree. A lot of people don't know how to actually read a map.
No, a lot of times when I'm having my sister or my cousin navigate, they'll tell me turn left, and they can't read the fucking map on their phone that says turn right because the map is oriented differently. And I go, you didn't read it, and you didn't know which way we were going, and you still gave me the wrong directions when the fucking answers are in your face. We gotta teach kids to read a map. You know how I read a map? You know what? Grand Theft Auto taught us to read a map, because we would have to pause the game, open the map, see that there's a point here, and then we're like, all right, take a left, take a right, take a left.
Where did this come from?
This came from when on my trip to Arizona, when my sister gave me the wrong direction to a Denny's we tried to go to for lunch.
How long were you holding that in?
She was holding that in.
I was holding that in, dude. That shit was so annoying. I'm like, yo. We planned to stop at Bakersfield for Denny's, and you took me to fuck middle of nowhere. How?
Did you ever get your Denny's?
We got our Denny's. And that's also how I know everyone's struggling, because Denny's told me that there was only 2 cooks.
Oof.
They don't have anybody else. They only have 2. So they all work 7 days.
Damn. That's rough.
This is every Denny's or just this one that you went to?
No, that's about 4 Denny's that I know, because I used to work there and I have friends. So we talk about it and I'm like, y'all struggle busting it.
Yeah, don't work at Denny's then.
Yeah,
or do.
That's rough. But yeah, so where I was going with the original thought is,
learn to read a map. That's where we were going.
You learn to read a map, but
learn to orientate yourself.
Apple is now in a similar issue with Spotify that Google was in with Microsoft 20 years ago. Spotify wants to take over as the music giant. Just in summary, they want to take over. And
how are they? Like, I have the article here, and I don't know how it doesn't say how Apple is suppressing them.
So basically, here's the thing about Apple. they don't pick favorites with their tax fee. That 30% tax.
We're getting all this information from an article from The Verge.
Yes, but I also read from the Wall Street Journal. So I actually read the article from I can't remember his name. He's the chief legal advisor for Spotify. I can't remember his name off the top of my head all of a sudden. Horatio Gutierrez. So he basically was breaking down how Apple is a bully and they're monopolizing by preventing third-party apps from offering their users alternate ways to purchase from them. And it's just basically the same thing Epic was saying. It's like, hey, they're upset they can't circumvent Apple's policies. They can't say, hey, we're having a sale, use this link to, get stuff at a cheaper price.
I'm gonna say the same thing with Epic. If Spotify wants to take the full cut, they got to understand that they're cutting ties with the company. And Apple owns the phone and owns the store, so it's them. It's their stuff. You don't have to be on an iPhone because there's not just iPhones. There's Samsungs. There's LGs. There's all these other phones that people look into. So if you just buy an iPhone and you want Spotify, but Spotify is like mad because Apple takes 30% because Spotify is being used on their market, their phones. It's a little bit of a double-ended sword. I know you said Google too, but there was no other competitor to Microsoft. Microsoft was a monopoly.
They had Netscape. Netscape was there. Yahoo, AOL.
Let's see. This dates me because I'm not that old.
Was it MSN? Is that
MSN? MSN. Oh my god.
Hell, I'm old enough to say. Well, Warner's, you might remember Prodigy.
What the fuck is that?
Prodigy?
I think that was before Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, Prodigy. I remember Prodigy.
Well, what do we got now besides Google? Shouldn't we consider Google a monopoly?
But that's what they're in trouble for right now. They're in trouble because they are the very thing they fought against.
So you know what? Bing missed the market. They should have bought the website bang.com, changed it into a search site. Because who here doesn't want to say, yo, hey man, do you know who that actress is from Hunger Games? Oh, you're like Jennifer Lawrence? Yes, let me bang her real quick.
What does that have to do?
I'm just giving Google a marketing ploy. Or Microsoft.
I was hoping you meant Bing.com.
Yeah, Bing. Bing should have became Bang.
I think he said that before. He's been adamant about Bing becoming Bang.
I did. I am very adamant about that. I like Bing when I'm doing like research papers and looking up articles. Google just gives me too much fluff.
Warner has lost all hope. He's like,
you know what? He can't lose all hope. There was never a hope to begin with.
Our future is looking so bright. But right from the Wall Street Journal. So if anyone has a subscription to the Wall Street Journal, you can find it's in the op-ed categories. It's written by Horatio himself. It came out on May 17th. And one of the parts that stuck out to me that made me think and start digging deep into like this technology war that we're having right now was a part where he says questions about Apple's conduct are also being asked in the U.S. In April, the Senate Judiciary Antitrust Subcommittee held a hearing focused on App Store competition. I testified before the committee alongside my peers from the Tile and Match group. Each of us said that if Apple's anti-competitive use of its App Store wasn't addressed, the tech giant and a few other platforms would rule the internet, limiting innovation, squashing small business, and all but eliminating customer choice. Now, I'm going to say he's not wrong, but I'm also going to call bullshit.
When I hear the word or the phrase limiting innovation, all I hear is limiting how much money we're going to make as a company.
Boom.
Pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like calling bullshit. Here's the problem. They only care because they're missing out on a major market. And Amazon has basically said they don't give a fuck, because when Amazon, so you can't buy books on Kindle through Apple, and Amazon's like, fuck that, we want 100%, we want the money. So they were willing to sacrifice that market just to not pay the hefty tax. Spotify is like, hey, but you're suppressing businesses. No, you want that 100%, but you want access to the Apple market, but you don't want to pay for it, because because like then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, back in 2008, there was no Apple tax. And then in 2011, okay, so for what, the last 9, almost 10 years, you guys didn't care?
Maybe all these companies, especially Amazon, maybe they should worry more about their space rockets not blowing up all the time while Elon Musk is whooping their ass. Elon Musk is chilling right now, watching all of these huge tech companies go at it. And he's over here chilling like, look at all my rockets working. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to Mars, dude.
Yeah. Right now, all of them are in a pissing contest to rule the internet, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
That's not a pissing contest. It's a dick measuring contest, and we can tell who's losing.
If Apple, they want to dethrone the original two juggernauts, Microsoft and Apple. All the other companies want to officially dethrone them in some way.
Good luck.
If Apple has to open up, Spotify is just going to become the next Apple.
You know what's going to happen?
Because they've already been buying up all the podcast marketing.
Yeah,
why do you think they've been doing that?
You know what's going to happen? You ever seen the car maps, like, of car companies? That there's only like 3 major car companies that own all the other car companies?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like that. Apple's going to own everything, but they're going to be able to sell it, but they're still taking a cut of everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening in the media anyway. I mean, look at Disney. Disney's still been in vacuum cleaner mode. They're sucking up everything.
Remember that there was a meme back a couple years ago when they keep
releasing all their Marvel shit
with the Mickey Mouse.
The Mickey Mouse meme, and they were, and underneath it had like all the companies they bought. Yeah, and everyone was like, "Damn, y'all are just buying up the planet."
Yeah.
Oh, can we remember that they hid Pooh from the market because someone made fun of the Chinese leader, that he looked like Winnie the Pooh?
No, I remember that. That was like a huge, like, it was all over the news, actually.
Yeah.
Fucking big money. And China's an even bigger part of that money.
So we're going to be seeing some, and Europe's not having it with any of the tech companies right now. Europe is literally going to war. But here's the thing. In the podcast I listened to, when I listened to the podcast, when they were talking to Horatio, and he was like, do you really think anything's going to change? Because Europe has been going after Google and nothing's changed. America hasn't cared and nothing's changed. So do you really think like anything's going to change? And this is where I say, people, because we're marching to whatever beat comes our way, we're helping to create the technology war that's happening without realizing it, because as consumers, we're just sucking up what comes our way.
So what's the deal with Europe then?
So back with Google, so Google kind of was like already pissing off Europe with the targeted ads. So earlier when I said, when you think your information is not being sold, it is, because how many times have you searched for a new car or search for something random, and then for like a week, all your ads somehow conveniently match that item you searched?
Or you say something and somehow it shows up as an ad on Instagram.
Or it shows up as an ad on Instagram. So,
okay, bullshit about that, because I've been asking for bad dragon masturbators for a while, and they haven't popped up.
Anywho,
remember that bird we were talking about, and we were talking about it right here on a podcast.
Yep.
And that particular bird, I never used my computer or my phone to physically type that bird in. And the next day, one of the first videos on my YouTube was about that bird. And remember me telling you that? And I was like, what the hell?
So I'm going to break down and this is not facts. This is what I think happens. So I'm not an expert in this. This is just how I believe it happens. We all trust Google. They're like, hey, we protect your privacy, blah, 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 blah. From who? Maybe each other, but not big business. So car company comes to Google and says, we want to run X ads. You've got the biggest market of users. Can you send these ads to anyone who looks for a car? Google goes, okay, here's what it's going to cost you. We'll take care of it from there. So car company goes, pays Google X amount of dollars. Google tracking literally everything you do. See, the catch is they protect your privacy from just going to those other businesses. They protect your privacy from other small businesses. They protect your privacy from maybe the guy down the street. Your privacy is not protected from them. So they take your trust in them.
What?
Your privacy is not protected from them because they have access to everything.
Well, and you have legitimacy in making those statements because there are, again, in the settings to opt in or out of them tracking specific things that you're looking at or that you're interested in.
Yeah. So, big business comes to them, they give them X amount of dollars, and then Google takes that information and pairs it to your search history, what you're commonly talking about, what you commonly view. And that's how they're able to send these precisely targeted ads your way. Now, once again, like I'm saying, this is my theory. I don't know. I only, know as much as because I work with Google ads. So there's settings in there where it's like target, there's a thing where it's like, hey, let us do it. It's like a recommended setting. And even when I tested, I'm like, damn, I don't like how creepy accurate Google's been. So some days when I don't search anything on purpose, I'll get random ads because Google doesn't know what I'm interested in. So I have to switch it up every now and then.
To keep them on their toes.
To keep them on their toes.
This is like a fun game you play on your own.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, Google, you got me today, but how about this? I'm not searching anything. And Google's like, orthopedic shoes? Joke's on you.
Have you tried talking around your phone and not searching and seeing if it pops up?
Oh, dude, the phone is a lost cause. All the phone targeting ads are always precise. So, because your mic is always on. As long as your phone's on, your mic is on. So, and that's where I will say when one of Apple's arguments is we're protecting the privacy. Whether they're using the money on that or not, I will have to give them the leeway because anytime I use an app now, I don't know if you guys have noticed if you have an Apple phone, more now than before, a lot of apps are going, hey, this app is asking for permission to track your usage on other apps. Why?
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Why do you need to know what I'm doing on other apps? Like they're completely unrelated to you. So I always opt out of those. I'm like, no. And
there's the other one. Allow it to track your location once or allow it to track your location only while in the app or not at all.
Yeah. I opt out of all of those unless it's a location specified app and usually only when I'm using that app. So they say. We have to go on a whim and believe that they're being loyal to that button press. But yeah, with this whole thing with Apple and Spotify, basically Spotify wants, in my opinion, they want unlimited access to the full music market. They want 100% of the profit. And they want to beat Apple at their own game. And then they want to take the place of Apple. That's my belief. That's my opinion. And in it might not even take 20 years anymore because of how fast technology advances. I think in 10 years, the next person is going to come along and it's going to start over again.
What's Pandora doing this whole time?
Pandora's been chilling. So here's the thing.
I love Pandora.
Pandora is the Netscape. I mostly use
Pandora.
Pandora is the Netscape to when it was Microsoft versus Google.
The reason I use Pandora is because I like that shuffle mode that it has. You don't know what's going to be played next. It's the station's kind of based off that particular type of song. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like a radio station in itself.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's next, and I like that, I guess.
Yeah,
that
it's a
surprise of what
surprise.
song's next. When Spotify doesn't have that, you have playlists and stuff.
Yeah, Spotify wants that 100%. They're seeing the revenue loss, so now they're finally saying something about it. I do see. Will Apple take a heavy loss? No. They make billions of dollars, so they would at most probably lose millions. But would we see a shift in the market more to like Spotify's favor? Yes, because then they would come out with some deals that would be enticing. Like, oh, now we can offer. We would see the Apple Store shift, and in a way I don't think would always be a good way, because those fee restrictions keep bloatware off of this App Store. It keeps a lot of unnecessary shit off their store because people don't want to pay for that. Compared to Android, which, don't get me wrong, I also like Android. I like the fact that it's easily accessible to everyone, but that's also the problem, is it's easily accessible to everyone. And
maybe now's the time to buy shares in Spotify stocks then.
Maybe.
It's just a smart idea to buy shares in general.
I mean, might as well make some money.
Hopefully it ends up good.
I think their stocks are like $200 ish.
Yeah, I think they're I think they're even with Apple, if not maybe higher. Apple's not as high as people think it is.
No, I can look it up right now.
But yeah, so a lot of people go, they probably, oh, how does that relate to me? Well,
Apple shares are $124.
Yep, sounds about right.
And then let me find Spotify. Spotify is at 241, so Spotify is worth more than Apple.
Spotify is worth more, and it's mainly. I know, you know what? It's the podcast market that's doing that for them. Podcast has become a $1 billion industry.
I knew they jumped when they bought Joe Rogan.
Yeah, because the podcasts are winning right now. People, ever since COVID, it's kind of like the crypto mining. Three things have skyrocketed.
Porn?
4 things then. Porn, crypto, podcasts, and e-gaming. Those markets boomed due to COVID. But one of them, and I'm going to say porn, is probably going to die down, mainly because the COVID market kind of like hurt them a bit, and a lot of restrictions are popping up on the internet, like killing off that industry. So they had a high moment, and now they're kind of porn.
There's something there. There's going to be something there.
So have fun with that. I wouldn't invest in that too much if you were, you had a better chance on OnlyFans. But anywho, yeah, that's what's been going on. Huge tech war happening right now. And Europe is attacking Google. Europe's, and I can understand why, because they don't like that their citizens' information is just being sold to the highest bidder. That's their big thing. It's an invasion of privacy. You're selling the information to the highest bidder. So it's like, that's unnerving, really. That's why they had that whole thing like, hey, you can't send unsolicited ads to us. That's why they fine people for that. Because I know if I, open up a newsletter and it's like, hey, we saw you searched this car and this piece of clothing and blah blah blah, I'd be like, okay, wait, first of all, why do you know that? Who the fuck are you?
Who is all in a legal battle with Apple right now? Like four or five companies?
Epic, Spotify. Hold on, let me look at the Wall Street article.
Are they in the legal battle with Google? Or is it just a serious competition right now?
Europe is the one that's in a legal battle with Google. But Apple is on the shit list of Europe, Russia, Australia, and South Korea, along with other countries.
Well, they missed. At least it's not with North Korea, right?
But
oh, that's right. They don't have internet.
Yeah, they're
I'm going to hell for that one.
Yeah, they're in their own little bubble. They're in their own little bubble.
Did you get on the internet today? Executed.
But I'm not gonna lie. If I have to, greater, lesser, it's all the same evil. I would rather stick honestly with what I know. Like, if Spotify has its way and Epic and all of them have their way, it's at least with Apple, it's almost like one fee. You go through Apple and then you branch out, but they all want their own cut of the pie. So then you're going to wind up spending even more money because they're all going to have their own shit.
Hear me out. This is why I think it's smart to start buying shares into Spotify. Spotify right now is a music app, podcast app. It's an app for just audio, whatever audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
After all of this stuff happens, if they grow the way that they probably will grow, they're probably going to start coming out with their own Spotify products. And it may not be in the next few years, but I do think down the line, maybe 10, 15 years, Spotify can grow big enough where they can start promoting their own products. You can't say it's not possible. Look at Amazon. They started off as just selling books. Now they're failing at launching rockets and fighting
selling everything
and fighting Apple.
See, the thing is, with Amazon, you had to be in the know. So kudos to anyone who took the chance in that stock. I would say Spotify is iffy because, first of all, they gotta get their ad revenue and how they pay their musicians. They gotta work on that shit. Their ad revenue via Spotify is out of their own pocket. They're not even outsourcing to third parties. That's one of the reasons I switched from Anchor, because their ad revenue system was just them, and they were spending millions of dollars. It was just basically kind of like they were just recycling,
which makes how successful they are right now even more impressive.
True. It's kind of like Microsoft in a way. It's like they're making big moves and it works in their favor. They're gambling and they're coming up wins. So in this legal battle, it's a gamble. What works in their favor is there's other people going, yeah, we agree. But we'll see how they act if they have their way. But I do agree with you. If they win, screw it. Make that money off of them too. They make money, you make money. Gotta play the game. Play the game to win. But yeah. So that was pretty much everything. This stuff can go so in depth. There's just not enough time in an episode to fully go in depth about it. But yeah, Amazon pulling some shady shit. Google
on the impurities.
Google
purge the weak.
Purge the weak. Well, apparently these tech companies find each other to be weak, so that's
let them fight.
Let them fight.
But since Kara's not here, we don't have Kara's Corner of Weird, so I'm gonna end on a PODDECKS question from the WTF PODDECKS. And the question will be, have you ever had a weird Uber experience?
Yes.
Well, please do share.
It was just a really creepy dude. He was, I'm not making this up. It wasn't even raining. It was a little chilly outside. It wasn't even raining though. And he was wearing a full big ass raincoat. Remember the Navy raincoats we had?
Mm-hmm.
Oversized with the big hoods.
Yep.
Like it was like that. And he walked up to me, and it was the way he talked to me. He was just like, I delivered your food. Like, why are you talking like that? I delivered your food? How about just give me my food and leave? And he's like, are you gonna have a nice day? Are you having a nice day? What?
Sounds like he was a foreigner that didn't know how to speak English. It just
no, he was
job.
a white guy. He was a straight up white dude.
When you said the hood, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this sounds like a white dude.
straight up white dude, and he just went and got back in his shitty car and like left after I kind of gave him that, you know how like you give like a pause of go away. Mm-hmm. Like I made sure I gave off that vibe, but it was just like a creepy, weird. I'm like, go make some friends or something, man. This is creepy.
Yeah, I put my hands up and I do the little finger thing where you like push them away, like go on, shoo.
Be gone.
I didn't order from Uber for a while after that, by the way, because they tend to be in the. I was like, what if I get that weird guy again?
Oh man,
it's possible. There was a time where I delivered for a friend, and then like 30 minutes later, I got another order from him again because his wife wanted something else, and then like I knocked on his door, I was like, hey man, you sent it again. I know it says leave at door, but I just want to make fun of you.
I've actually never had a weird Uber experience.
Well, you just used Uber for the first time like a few weeks ago, didn't you?
Me?
Yeah, I thought you said it was like
I
the
use
first time
DoorDash for my food.
DoorDash.
That's what I do, dog.
I don't use Uber Eats. I've never had a weird experience with Uber, but I'm kind of weird about Uber. I don't know why.
Yo. So we going to Texas in September for that fucking anime con Warner's is talking about? That's the real question.
If y'all pay for your own plane tickets and want to come on down,
we're splitting the Airbnb though.
I'll crash in a corner. I just need a little cut.
Bitch, you can have the couch. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
If y'all find a way to fly down, I'll pay for the tickets.
I could fly down there. I can make that money easily.
All I'm saying
is, Warner's, we're gonna get drunk, and I'm gonna find you a nice Daisy Duke Texan girl.
I don't. Oh God, no. That is not my type.
She'll dress like Nezuko. It's okay.
Just hit her with the.
Why, dude? Itachi, that doesn't work. That's your high face. That's what happens when I get high with you. You're gonna make that face like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm thinking.
I can't imagine Itachi stoned off his ass. He would just be. I feel like he wouldn't be laughing or anything. He'd be sitting there like, let me tell you.
No.
He'd go down these tech rabbit holes.
No, not even that.
So deep.
I feel like Itachi's a giggly bitch that we're just gonna do something like, hey, Red, we're gonna grab water.
No, he'll be a quiet conspiracy guy.
That's
he'll go off on tangents.
That's more like me. You guys would be like trying to have like this high moment. I'm over here like, but guys, let me tell you, the Big Brother thing. Listen to me. I'm about to break it down.
And I'm just gonna be there like, Itachi, shut the fuck up and watch Family Guy.
You remember? Did y'all ever watch that '70s show when they're all high and
they thought the government was listening on them because they threatened the president?
Yeah, it would turn into some shit like that.
This shit was so funny.
That would
We'd be
me.
like, oh crap.
That would be me. I'd be it, but you guys would be looking around like he might have a point, but too high to care.
Yo, but I want Itachi to dress up like the Akatsuki when he gets there.
It's behind my Batman robe right now.
You gotta dress like the Akatsuki. You gotta dress like your character.
I'm gonna have the if I wasn't so scared of sticking stuff in my eye.
I'm Blachi or Blackchi.
I showed Itachi today my cosplay of Gyo Tokiyama. Actually, it looked pretty good. It was the wig that was bad, and
Bruh, the wig threw it all off.
Which I knew that showing the picture to you, because I knew you'd have a crack about it. If it wasn't for the wig, it would have looked pretty good.
Yeah, outside the wig, it was good. It was good.
But I have a good friend of mine. She's being very kind, and she's good with this stuff. And I showed her a picture, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So, because I showed you the picture after her, I was like, what if Itachi? What did you know?
I literally burst out laughing when I saw that, because you had the face. You knew that this was not right.
But I was gonna just go buy, like, you can go to like good cosplay stores online and buy them pre-made, but they're a little pricey. But we'll see what happens. But I'm excited, dude. I got my sword's coming tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Are you able to take swords in there? Oh, it's Texas.
It's not a real sword. It's just a cosplay sword.
I know, but I'm thinking like Texas. It's like, who cares? Dude has a sword. Everybody has a gun.
Swords are illegal to walk around with in Texas.
Really?
Yep, but you can walk around with a rifle.
You know why? You can walk around? Nobody would want to admit that they lost a fight to a swordsman.
Or a Demon Slayer cosplay.
Or a person in a Demon Slayer cosplay. Nobody wants to admit that. That's why.
Beat a Texas gunman down and be like, get stronger, slay demons.
Could you imagine?
He had two guns.
You know how upset a Texan would be if right before, they had their gun like, oh, I got this, and they hear, Omaewa, Moon Sindeyu. And then all of a sudden they're on the ground.
Nani?
All they hear is that sword go chink. You know how every anime that has a sword, they use the thumb to pop up their sword. Chink.
Chink. That's all they hear.
Your key gave you away.
So Texas knows. They know. They were like, nah.
No swords.
No swords.
No swords. Run around.
I'm not trying to cut my bullets in half, dog. Nah, bro.
I'd love to go as an Itsuki, but I don't have the body type.
Or the face.
Or the face. I'm not baby face beautiful with ripped 8-pack abs. And I'm pretty sure they'd frown upon me going in there with 2 double-edged swords.
Yeah.
With spikes on them.
I think they would be more insulted at the body typing. The sword, they wouldn't even notice the swords. They would be like this.
I want to Google Fat Inosuke and see what comes up.
They would come at him for the swords after the fact. Just go in there with like those plastic made ones. Those will be fine.
But I am taking the role seriously I'm changing my workout regimen to lose weight so that I'm a little thinner and like look better in it.
Yeah, you know what? You shouldn't do Inosuke when there's people. What the fuck
I'm
is
not
this?
doing Inosuke. I'm doing Kiru Tokiyama.
I'm sorry. In my head, all I hear right now is Omaewa.
The only thing I can think of is, can I get prescription contacts that are purple?
If I wasn't like super sensitive about my eyes, I would have gotten myself some Sharingan contacts just for my cosplay, because I got the headband, I got the Katsuki robe, I got the ring, I got a chain. All I need are literally like the fake Naruto sandals. I'm not big on the nail painting part, so I wouldn't paint my nails. But I'd be able to walk around with my Katsuki swagger. 5'6" Itachi. Which was funny because at a Halloween party in San Diego when I went with Al, and he didn't know what Naruto was or any of that. He was like, nobody's gonna know what this is. And when we got there, I couldn't walk 5 feet without a whole bunch of people wanting to take pictures because of the Akatsuki robe. And he was like, I stand corrected. So just let me get my robe. I'm good to go. I'm gonna walk around with my hand. Everybody will know. All the Naruto fans will know.
We show up and like Itachi's with the other people dressed like Akatsuki. They're all just gonna be chilling.
You're just all chilling. The theme starts playing. We don't even know each other, but it works.
Well, that's the same with Warner. He's gonna meet up with all the Demon Slayer fans. There's gonna be there like, any demons around?
All you're gonna hear is all the ting 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 ting.
If I was in the shape I used to be in, I'd love to go as Yami.
Motherfucker, you still got like 2 months to get into somewhat of a shape.
You talking about like Yami from Black Clover?
Yeah,
bro, you better you better.
No.
Bro.
3 years ago, I could have done the cosplay for that. Today, I couldn't do it. There's no way. Because 3 years ago, I was in the best shape of my life. And I was like a solid 220.
Donuts were better, though.
No, I just lots of depression. We don't have to talk about it.
I don't know why. Whenever he goes in, I just want to throw in there depression, getting hit by cars.
I did get hit by a car. That slowed me down. Literally.
Now he wants Now he wants to pick a very fast character, but it works though. It works.
Yeah, I'm sticking with running right now. So
like I said, we're gonna meet up in Texas, Airbnb. We split that, but we pay our own tickets to plane there.
If you guys want to come on down. You know, I did think of this. If I got back in really good shape again and did Yami Sukihiro, I'd be showing up with a katana and a wife beater.
You really would. With a little shredded t-shirt on your side.
The cosplay would be so easy.
All you need
just work out,
brown pants,
bring a katana.
You dig out your old Navy boots, and then every 5 minutes, just say you got to go take a shit.
Dump, he says. I gotta
go take a dump.
I'm trying to pass my limits right
now. Good grief.
But they're out there pushing past their limits. Now it's time to push past mine.
But we are at the end of the episode, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to go check out our Patreon page for our exclusive content, bonus minutes, and a bunch of other stuff. Also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you go check out the merchandise shop, the GZShop.com. We have added some new colors. We've got new merchandise coming, so make sure to check it out. Let us know what you guys thought about the episode. Hit us up on Twitter if you guys have a topic you think fits for the show. And stay tuned because we have another giveaway in the works for you guys coming up, but more details on that at a later date. Anyway, you guys have been amazing. Visit us on gammagames.com. Stay safe out there. We will catch you wonderful people on the